I get tossed aside so frequently that it is messing with my head. I had to delete all the dating apps, she says. I know that I am a wonderful woman and a great girlfriend, but the callous disregard of men online made me question my own self-worth. I started thinking that maybe there's something really wrong with me and that these guys find me too intimidating and ambitious for them. In reality, I can't change the fact that they're so insecure. She's a critical mass here, guys. Oh yes, don't get it twisted. She, like most post-wall females, blames everyone and everything but herself for her declining sexual market value. Instead of acknowledging that she's older and less attractive, she blames the deterioration of the dating market. Instead of realizing that she's just not worth the trouble anymore, she blames other women for having low standards and being too accommodating, which means actually acting like you like the guy. God forbid. Instead of understanding that her company outside of sex isn't worth dealing with, she blames men's laziness and cites that as the reason they don't have girlfriends. And then she says that men are afraid to meet up with her, instead of coming to the realization that dudes have better options available to them. So now here she is, at number 7, blaming men once again for her own deficiencies. She is just too intimidating and ambitious for them. They're so insecure. The funny thing is she almost kept it real with herself when she says she's starting to think that there's something wrong with her. But then she immediately reverses skate and goes right back to the insults and blaming men for not choosing to be with her. If she were such a wonderful woman and a great girlfriend, she would be with someone, right? Like, that's the simple math. But she isn't, so she's not. And in order to sleep at night, she has to tell herself and others that there's nothing wrong with her, but something wrong with men. This is the typical rhetoric of females who are getting left behind for younger, kinder, more feminine women. And it's as simple as that. Number 8. I like who I am, but it seems most guys don't. I'm tired of men who say one thing and then either back out of it or act completely the opposite. One minute I'm the coolest, most genuine, interesting, grounded woman they've ever met. The next, I'm too much for them and they feel that I deserve better than them. Just be honest and quit with the lame cop-out, she says. I like who I am, but this pattern makes me feel bad. This is the classic case of a woman who is on her best behavior in the beginning. Like all women, she's cool and genuine and interesting. In the beginning, of course she is. She's putting on a facade, a front, a mask. But because men don't like what they see behind the mask, when she starts to show her true colors, she gets butthurt that they don't stick around. A woman, gentlemen, can only fake the funk for so long. Eventually, she is going to show him who she really is. And if she is dealing with a man with options, a high-value man, he's not going to stick around to deal with her nonsense. Ladies, you can't get mad when you look and sound like a Ferrari for the first 2 weeks, but then bitch and moan when he takes you back to the dealership after he opens the hood and sees the engine of a Toyota Camry. You cannot expect men to stay with you if you pull a bait and switch. Then she talks about lame cop-outs, right? Because surely Amy Horton's never used a lame cop-out like, I need to find myself. It's not you, it's me. You deserve better. I need some me time. I'm not being true to myself. This, again, is a woman who gets mad at dudes who are running the same gambit on them that she used to run on men in her 20s. Like I said, women love the game when they win, but they hate it when men play it better than they do. Number 9, I try not to take rejection personally, but I have feelings. I do try to remember that because it's all online, people don't treat me like a real person. It's easy to swipe left or flake out or disregard another human like they don't exist. I try not to make it about me, but when it happens over and over again, I do feel hurt. I'm a sensitive being whether I like it or not. That's why I've decided I'm better off not trying to date at all. Here's a thought, Amy. How about you take the advice that I gave you earlier? How about you do the hard thing by getting offline, becoming more pleasant, acting more feminine, dressing like a lady, and becoming approachable so that men of value will find you out in the real world. This way, if they approach you and strike up conversation, it means that they might actually like you. And when he asks you for your phone number and you give it to him, he's not likely to flake or ghost on you because he's got skin in the game. Yes, he's invested. What's that you say? It's too much trouble. You don't have time. Guys aren't worth the trouble. My mistake. Amy Horton is experiencing what all women experience at some point, and that is realizing that she actually has to work for something she's used to getting for nothing. In her 20s, all she had to be was there, and she had dudes lining up to be with her. But now that she's not young and pretty anymore, she finds herself having to earn what was given to her before with zero effort involved on her part. And because we know that women like Amy never do what's not easy, she's decided she's better off. Better off not to try to date at all. Doesn't surprise me one bit. Number 10. It makes me feel small and invisible to be passed over so frequently. I've gotten to the point where I don't even know how to talk to men anymore. I'm so afraid I'll think the wrong thing or show interest only to be dismissed yet again. It seems easier to ignore them altogether. I thought I could do this and wait for a guy to really try to win me over, but no one is trying. And sometimes I feel like the most unappealing woman alive. Oh, boo-hoo. You see, the reason why you think you don't know how to talk to men anymore, Amy, is because you've never had to. Okay? Men showed all the interest in your 20s. They carried the conversation. He did all the work, and you sat back and simply decided whether or not you sleep with him. You used to have the luxury of sitting back and waiting for the guy to win you over, but you do not have that luxury anymore. The reason no one is trying is because you are an unappealing woman, at least not as appealing as you used to be. I love her sad attempt at sort of fishing for compliments with the, I feel like I'm the most unappealing woman alive. And men are supposed to just come to her rescue and say, oh no, Amy, that's not the case at all. You are very appealing. That is not about to be me, and it better not about to be anybody else. A lot of you simps out there buy into this stuff. A girl says, oh, I'm just not worth it anymore. You guys jump to her rescue. Oh, you're totally worth it, wife and material. Quit gassing up these post-wall broads, guys. They've made their bed and now they got to lay in it. There's no need for you to make up their bed for them. Number 11, I almost feel like I'm losing my sanity. She continues, it's hard to maintain a sense of self when everything that is happening hints to the contrary. I know I'm not being ridiculous and asking for common decency, but then that evil little voice in my head whispers, what if you're crazy? What if you're really the problem? I have to tell it to shut up so I don't lose my mind. Oh, now she's keeping it 100. Guys, now she's starting to acknowledge that she is the common denominator in her declining sexual market value. You see, those whispers in her head that ask her if she's crazy and that if she's the real problem, she knows the answers to both of those questions. And the fact that she has to tell it to shut up tells us that she knows she is crazy. She knows she is the problem. But so she can sleep at night, like most women her age, they have to lie to themselves. And when they are no longer able to lie to themselves, they call their doctors and tell them, I don't know what's wrong with me. And what ends up happening is they get prescribed Lexapro to keep them from attempting suicide during the day, clonazepam to calm her anxiety about the fact that the most meaningful relationships she'll have moving forward are with her cats and her favorite wine glass, and Ambien to knock her out at night so she doesn't have to listen to those voices that are telling her the truth about herself. Again, the fact that she has to tamp down those voices lets us know all we need to know, that she sees the writing on the wall. Finally, number 12. She says, I love my life, but being dismissed by men puts a damper on it. It's easier to ignore dudes altogether than to allow them to cast a shadow on my otherwise awesome life. I'm very happy, except when it comes to love. It definitely affects me sometimes. I do want romance in my life, though I don't need it. It's tough to keep reminding myself how good I have it, even though men are constantly blowing me off. Dude, listen to how she goes. This is hamster in overdrive. Just listen, or just look at how she goes back and forth on admitting that she needs a man to be happy. She doesn't want to admit this, so she does her best to save face, but then she keeps letting it slip that she is unhappy without a man. First it's my life is awesome, then it's I'm very happy except when it comes to love. First it's I have a great life, but then it's men blowing me off makes it tough for me to remind myself that my life is indeed awesome. Gentlemen, this paragraph right here, number 12, this is the quintessential example of a woman who is trying to be like a man, but she can't because she's a woman. You see, men don't need women to be happy, guys. Yes, they elevate our lives, and they often do. But they are far from necessary for us to be truly happy. Only now are we just now beginning to realize this. But they are far from, but for men, women are a luxury, and not a necessity. I will say this again. For men of value, men that get it, women are simply a luxury and not a necessity. We want them, we do not need them. Females would love to think that they're exactly the same way, but they're not. Men are a necessity to women, not a luxury. They can tell themselves, and they can tell others, well, I don't need a man, but I want one. Well, I don't need a man, but I want one. But I don't need one. They go back and forth. A man who needs a woman is weak. A woman who completes a man isn't a man. He is a male who needs a woman. Steve the Dean talks about this all the time. This is why men understand that we must be self-sufficient in every way in order to be complete men, which means not needing a woman to be happy. Women are exactly the opposite. But because they keep trying to be men, they end up as miserable. Ladies, listen, Uncle Donovan is going to try to help you out. I don't try to help you guys often, but Uncle Donovan is going to try to help you out. If you haven't heard anything I've said today, I am pleading with you to understand this. Needing a man doesn't make you weak. It makes you a woman. And there's nothing wrong with being a woman unless you're trying to be a man. Amy Horton is clearly distraught about the fact that the men she wants do not want her. If you're so content without men, then why does your title say that you're literally questioning everything? I'll tell you why. Because the true value of a woman is determined by the man you can attract and subsequently lock down. For a woman, true happiness means belonging to a man, having a relationship of consequence with a man you respect and love. The world doesn't care about your accomplishments as a single woman. Yes, the world blows smoke up your asses and tell you guys how great and wonderful you are. But no matter what the world says, the world knows that the true measure of a woman is a woman who gets married to a man of value, has children, and is a good wife and mother. When you're young, your value is determined by your youth and beauty. But your youth and beauty don't mean a damn thing if you use it to sport fuck your way through your 20s and have 3 abortions because you pretend to be allergic to latex and lambskin, and you ladies know it. So Amy, spare me with the I want a man, but I don't need one rhetoric. Because the fact that you even wrote this article indicates very clearly that is quite literally the opposite. Ladies, enough with this facade. Just be honest with yourselves and others and admit that you need a man and act accordingly.